right, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Today we are with Alexandra Martin. How are you today?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on. How are you?
Doing really good. Enjoying the weather we're having today. It's a little warm, but it's nice.
The weather we're having today. A little warm, but it's
It is certainly not hockey weather. I'll have to say that.
That's right. That's right. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and, have you been in Roanoke your entire life?
Have you been in Roanoke your entire life?
Yeah, I am a lifer. I was born and raised in Roanoke and then went to Roanoke College just down the road. Played sports there, had a great time, great school. And just like every, senior, trying to figure out where I wanted to land and what that was going to look like. So Roanoke was hiring for the new hockey team that would start that fall, and I ended up getting the job, and I've been with the team ever since.
Very cool. What do you do for them?
Very cool. What do you do for them?
Yeah, so now I'm the vice president, so I'm in charge of marketing and corporate sales, and then I help oversee like game day operations and the ticket side as well.
That's very cool. It was great to see them bring hockey back to
Very
Roanoke.
cool. It was great to see them bring hockey back to Roanoke.
Yeah, definitely. There was a time span there between the Roanoke Express, which was the last real successful team in Roanoke, and then us. So there was a huge gap of professional hockey there for a while, and we were greeted with so much support that first year, and truly the buzz has just continued. We're very lucky to be in this market, and a market that really supports minor league hockey.
Yeah, I haven't been to a game since you guys have been there, but I'm definitely wanting to go.
You guys have been there, but I'm definitely wanting to go.
Yeah, absolutely. You're missing out. Growing up here, I think there's a lack of things to do in the wintertime. There's not nothing to do, but a lack of things. And we fill that void.
That's very cool. So when it comes into the marketing side of things,
when it comes into the
how does that exactly work for the hockey team?
How does that exactly work for the hockey team?
Yeah, sure. In terms of like, how do we market the games?
Yeah, and I know you guys are pretty into the social media, which is great, but do you guys advertise anywhere else?
Social media, which is great, but do you guys advertise anywhere else?
It's limited. I would say that when I first started with the team, I didn't make all of the marketing decisions, although I did help with a lot of them. And even in the last 6 years, so dating back to, the summer of 2016, which was when I started, the marketing trends and what seems to be effective, especially not just for sports, but for event marketing, is shifting more digital. So we, especially in that off year where we didn't play because of COVID, we reevaluated our marketing strategy a lot. And it turned out that it ended up being more digital. And our walk-up ticket sales, which is, 99% of our budget is spent on walk-up ticket sales. And we were in a really good spot this year. We did really well. A slow start a little bit because COVID was still a concern in the Roanoke community. But towards the end of the year, we had some really, really impressive numbers for the walk-up tickets like I was talking about.
That's very cool. I talked with Mitch Stewart a while back,
That's very cool. I talked with
I was impressed to see how many Roanoke natives there are that are actually working for the team.
Roanoke natives there are that are actually working for the team.
Yeah, definitely. Brian Gardner was our broadcaster before Mitch, and he got called up to the ECHL. And then when we were reviewing resumes and Mitch's came along, he not only did he, have the resume to back his work up, but what a cool thing to be able to come back to your home city and call hockey games. And I know that that's something that he was really passionate about. And like I said, it didn't hurt that he was from just down the road either. So, we love to hire local kids. And there's one more in the office too, Andrew King.
Yeah, that's very cool, and it's great to see because I think
that's very cool, and
can't remember exactly where he said he went to college, but it's great to see them come back to where they grew up and help build something within the community and stuff like that. I think stuff like hockey or football or whatever the case is, it can bring the community together. It gives everybody something constructive to do, I guess.
It gives everybody something constructive to do, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that we as an organization try to bring to the community, but you're right. For the local staff, and we have some local ownership as well. I think that just heightens how much you're dedicated to what you're doing when you can take a sense of pride that, this is your home. It's not just your career, or your job or whatever, but it is your home as well. So it's something that we all take a lot of pride in, whether we're from Roanoke or, maybe our other staff that's not from the area.
Yeah. So in what you do, I know you said you wear several different hats. We touched on the marketing side of things, but when it comes to ticket sales, do you see, especially here now, I know the season's over, but during the after the COVID, the year of COVID, I guess, did you see a increase in people going to the box office versus buying tickets online?
People going to the box office versus buying tickets online?
Yeah, so our online sales were up a lot, which I think is attributed to where we were spending our marketing dollars as well, because we ran a lot of Facebook, Instagram ads. So obviously, showing that link to more people more times is conducive to them spending their ticketing money online versus the box office. An area that we didn't expect to be, right on pace with was our season tickets. So we functioned that entire year of COVID with 3 full-time front office staff and only 1 ticketing person. And typically we'd carry, 2 or 3. So Andrew King is who I'm talking about. He was able to keep our season ticket numbers up. And that was a difficult thing. We had people calling in asking, well, are you going to play again? Is the team going to be around? There were just so many unknowns. And when we talk about truly what keeps teams and communities, it's season tickets and corporate sponsors. And while walk-up tickets are so very important to us as well, it's not something that we can control game by game, right? So it's not something that we can count on. We can look at our average, but that, the average doesn't determine who's showing up and if they're actually showing up. If we get weather, or maybe there's high school football or ACC basketball or something, we're competing with that. So the more that we can pre-sell, like the season tickets that I'm talking about, or corporate sponsorships, that's really when, you see teams that are sustainable in communities.
Yeah, and it's great to see that you guys were able to stay in the community, and then, as soon as everything started to open back up, start playing hockey again. And
as soon as everything,
I know a lot of people that have been to the games, and they say that, the years of not being able to do much, that just made it that much more special.
Not being able to do much, that just made it that much more special.
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of felt like I have flashbacks to our first ever game a lot. So October of 2016. And there was so much excitement. And so, everybody was happy. On and off the ice, there was such this energetic buzz, which, you can lose over time. And so not that we were thankful that COVID happened by any stretch of the imagination. That was a very difficult time for everybody. But to be able to come back after 601 days to the same fan base that still had that energy, the players on ice were excited to be playing again, especially those players that were returning. It kind of felt like, inaugural season opening night 2.0, which was a really special feeling. And not all opening nights feel like that. There's obviously a lot of excitement and, buzz around any opening night, but especially this last year. It truly felt like that first year again, which was so awesome.
And I couldn't agree more. For anybody who was, during the COVID times, as far as not being able to go anywhere unless you were going to work or the store, and even that was kind of a pain. To be able to do something like going to a hockey game and being able to cheer for your favorite team, that's just awesome.
Like going to a hockey game and being able to cheer for your favorite team, that's just awesome.
Yeah, it really was. And obviously, it's hard to sit here and imagine where we were a year ago, right? So, like, we didn't know, were masks going to be required? Would we have 100% capacity? And if you're not thinking about events every day, like our staff is doing that constantly, you don't think about what all might go into that, right? So we had to have different seating maps for 100% capacity, 75% capacity, social distanced, which would have been the most difficult of, all the options. That would have involved a lot of zip ties, which the minor league baseball team that season had just been through the same thing. So we were kind of, bouncing ideas off of them as well. But yeah, glad to get through this last season, especially the fall. The fall was hard. But once we turned that corner around New Year's Eve, it felt like the good old days again.
Yeah, and it's great to see that you guys are doing well. Especially this year, making it all the way. I feel like next year is going to be the year.
Well. Especially this year, making it all the way. I feel like next year is going to be the year.
Yeah, we'll see. It's tough. I don't know how closely you follow SPHL transactions and player movement on the roster, but typically SPHL teams will not carry their same roster year to year. So there's an element of, protecting certain players, but you can't protect your whole roster. And so I definitely think we have a good core coming back to your point. Absolutely. Yes. And then, hopefully we'll get in some new talent as well, which is what we always hope to do. Pick up some new college kids, maybe pick up some players that weren't protected by their team from the past season. So we're certainly hoping to have another good year. You can't make promises what happens on the ice, but we're certainly excited, with the type of momentum that we ended with. Hopefully that'll carry
I hope so. It would be great to see. In the merchandise area, do you guys what kind of merchandise do you guys have? I know you have like jerseys. I think I've seen online.
What kind of merchandise do you guys have? I know you have like jerseys. I think I've seen online.
Yeah, we have a little bit of everything. I will say that, we were probably a little more conservative this year. There were certain budgetary things that we had to be mindful of coming out of a COVID year, right? So less risky, less inventory, just because there are costs associated with that up front. And while we had a good year in merchandise, in the fall, we weren't so sure. So we have hats, T-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts. We had a specialty jersey program as well, where you could order like replicas, which was really popular. I'm sure we'll continue to do that again. And then, unfortunately, everybody's costs are going up, so we'll have to kind of reevaluate that and re-strategize leading into the next season as well. But yeah, merchandise is kind of a fun piece, right? So, and internally, we look at it as much of a marketing tool as we do.
Yeah, it's almost like free advertisement to a degree. You got somebody wears it all the time, no matter what it is.
Yeah, it's almost like free advertisement to a degree. You got somebody wears it all the time, no matter what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And, we try to get, fresh ideas, and we work with Press Merch just down the road from us. They're our friends, but also our merchandise provider for most everything. And they're great. And we try to keep the ideas fresh and appeal to not just hockey fans, right? But, people that might have a lot of pride with Roanoke. So, and some specialty night stuff too, like we did some superhero stuff, some military night stuff. So, we try to get creative, and we'll
it's going to be interesting to see how things play out and see how the team does, but also to see what cool ideas you guys can come up with some merchandise. That always intrigues me, how people come up with some of the ideas.
That always intrigues me, how people come up with some of the ideas.
Yeah, definitely. Myself and our president, Mickey, he and I tackled merchandise this year, and we ran with a pretty thin staff this year. Typically, we would have 1 to 2 more full-time people, which we're hoping to, add back as soon as we can or as soon as it makes sense. But yeah, so we plan the merchandise a lot around what our promotional schedule looks like, which we don't have our schedule yet, but we should in the next couple of weeks. And so as soon as we get those home dates, we really start plugging in those, staple nights like the teddy bear toss, New Year's Eve, military night, superhero night, that kind of stuff. And then, and because those games are like, we'll never get rid of those games, right? They're kind of a staple in our promotional schedule. But we try to always add some fresh new ideas that, maybe are relevant to that time of year. One thing that we did really well this year, and it turned out really great, we did a Yellowstone night based off the hit TV show. And we were the first ever sports team, not just hockey team, but sports team to do a Yellowstone night. And we tied a charity to it. And it was a really fun night. It was a really good night. We got to wear specialty jerseys. So new ideas like that, that are relevant to what's going on the entertainment calendar, not just with us, but everywhere. And plug those into
That's
our
very
promotional
cool.
schedule.
I hope to come to
interested.
the first game of the season. That would be very, very interesting to see the difference between the Express and the RailYard Dawgs, because that was the last game that I'd ever been to, and that's probably been, oh geez, I can't even think of how old I was then.
That was the last game that I'd ever been to, and that's probably been, oh geez, I can't even think of how old I was then.
Yeah, you'll definitely have to come check us out. There's a lot of similarities. There really is. Other than the jerseys that you'll see walking around, although we do have quite a few Express throwback jerseys that people wear. That's actually another specialty night that we did this year, was an Express throwback night. So we'll see if that
That's
finds
very
its
awesome.
way on our promotional calendar, and I have to think that it will.
When it comes down to, I guess, kind of the gist of it, we kind of touched on some of the stuff that you do, but
when it comes down to
what do you think the future is for the team and the merchandise aspect of it? Do you think that the online sales are going to be about the same, or do you think it'll be more in person kind of?
Do you think that the online sales are going to be about the same, or do you think it'll be more in person kind of?
I think a lot of industries are trending to be more digital. And while I think that trend is going to continue for single game tickets, that is really the only avenue. I'm trying to just make sure in my head here, but that's really the only avenue where we service people online. Season tickets are done in person. That's really important. The customer service is like the number one reason to get season tickets, because you can stop by the office and we'll take care of everything for you. And we have 2 really great people in the front office that do that for us. So I think that the online ticket sales for walk-up, I think that will continue to either increase or stay the same for online ticket sales, which we're good with. That's fine. And while it is a little more expensive to buy tickets online, because there's a fee, obviously there's a fee with everything, to use that software, it also frees up lines at the box office, and no one has a good experience when they're waiting in a line, right? So we're good with selling more tickets online. That's great. And so merchandise, I don't know. During the COVID year, we did so much merchandise online and then, flipped that to curbside pickup. That while merchandise is a very important piece of what we do here, it's just supplemental, or you know what I mean? That's never going to be like the main thing that we focus on. So we would really rather sell merchandise at games, have a family of 4 come out to a game, enjoy themselves, come by the fun phone calls, that say, let's go Dogs. So while we'll always provide online service for that, I don't know that one of our goals will ever be to increase it, if that makes sense. I think if we see any jumps,
and I couldn't agree more. I mean, no matter what it is, the in-person customer aspect of it, because I'm in customer service. I work at Firestone, so I agree that
no matter what it is, the
in-person stuff, if you're really good with people, man, it goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that in-person stuff, if you're really good with people, man, it goes a long way.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And, we take a lot of pride in our customer service, especially with the ticket department. So, and I'm not talking about the people that, like the part-timers that do the box office windows. I'm talking about our account execs that handle our big season ticket accounts. And that's, I can think of like a handful of customer service problems that we've ever had. And we don't deal with that. If you're not good at customer service, you don't have a place, on our team. So we take a lot of pride in that. And when we talk to people, especially, the ticket staff and season ticket holders, we're asking, okay, well, what do we do well? What do we need to improve upon? And customer service, we always get compliments on that. And I just can't express how important that is to both myself and my boss, Mickey. And, not just for season ticket holders, but also for our corporate partners, which is something that I handle mostly. We're always a phone call away. We don't big time anybody at the games. We're all walking around. We're not, sitting in a VIP box, at least not usually. So that's really important to us. And whether you're at Firestone or at a RailYard Dawgs game or anywhere else, I don't think that you can get that relationship and that customer service digitally. I just don't. If maybe in a few decades there'll be a better way to do it.
The face-to-face interaction is always great, especially when you're interacting with somebody who just has an overall genuine
interaction is always great, especially
happiness to be at work.
Interacting with somebody who just has an overall genuine happiness at work.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we're a little different because, we have fun jobs, right? We work for a minor league hockey team. So typically when we do have problems with customers, they're not big problems. They're very minor in the grand scheme of things. And we like to keep it fun. We're friendly with a lot of our customers. A lot of our season ticket holders have been with us since day one. We know them, we know their kids. And that's just something really special. And it makes you really enjoy what you do when you can have those relationships with customers. And I'm not just talking, that the customers enjoy their relationship with us, but our staff truly
I have a
enjoys
few
the
customers like
relationship
that where
customers as well.
you know who they are, kind of know about their family, and it's
like that where
like seeing an old friend, so to speak.
Know who they are, kind of know about their family, and it's like seeing an old friend, so to speak.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It was kind of a funny realization. So we in March of 2020, we cut our season off, really without any warning. Right. So there's all these kids, season ticket holder kids that we know, and they're running around. Okay, well, fast forward 601 days to October of 21. It's like, okay, well, the kid that was this tall the last time we saw them is, this tall now, which was kind of a cool progression to see, kids move from middle school to high school or whatever it is. So yeah, and I'm sure that you can agree with this as well. For every customer that you love, there's always a few that you don't.
That's just how customer service is, unfortunately.
That's
just how
so kind of lastly, because I don't want to keep it too long. Where can people find tickets, and can you buy them on your all's website, or do you have to go to was it Ticketmaster, or
where can people find tickets, and can you buy them on your all's website, or do you have to go to was it Ticketmaster or?
Yeah, so we have both options. However, there's kind of a caveat here. So we won't go on sale with any online tickets until about a month before opening night. So that puts it in September at September-ish. But our ticket staff and myself all summer long are selling. So whether it's season tickets, half season tickets, Group tickets is a big one that we're pushing this year. So all that information is on our website. But those bigger ticket items that I was talking about typically warrant, a phone call or a face-to-face interaction to review seat locations and that kind of stuff. So yes, single game tickets are available online, but not until the fall. But we just moved our offices back to Berkland Center. So we're finalizing kind of that setup now, but merchandise will be available there as well during regular business hours. So anybody can come in and, check out what jerseys we have to offer, t-shirts, hats, that kind of thing. It is the summertime, so we're a little lighter on that.
Well, it's been a pleasure to talk with you. I learned a lot more about what you do and how things work internally with the RailYard Dawgs. So it's been a lot of fun.
I learned a lot more about what you do and how things work internally with the RailYard Dawgs. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. We're super excited, how the season ended and already looking forward to October. So make sure you catch a game this year, okay?
I will definitely do it. I hope to see you there.
All right, I'll be
no
there.
problem,
I'll be
thanks.
the one in the suit running around. Thanks so much.
No problem, thanks.
Oh, no.
Should I hang up or do I wait?